Hello guys, it's me, Edo Kami-sama. I know it's been a while since I last posted a video, and let me give you a quick explanation for that. That's because I have been exhausted. I've been tired. I've had to deal with a lot of things, and so, for this break, that's exactly what I've been doing, is taking a break. Just laying around, watching videos, relaxing. That's it, okay? So this next topic that I'm going to discuss with you guys today, it relates to one of my previous videos. It relates to Japanese women and some of the things that you might not be aware of. Okay, so, for those of you, before you decide to marry or before you decide to date, one thing you should take into consideration is the family. And I don't mean in a sense as having to go out and eat dinner with the family or socialize with them. I mean, it is true what a lot of people say when it relates to Japanese culture. When you marry the wife, you essentially are marrying the family. And with that, there might be some things that you might not approve of, being that you are an adult yourself, okay? For example, there are some restrictions and there are some rules that are forced upon you. And in my opinion, I think it's just it's kind of an ego trip or a power trip, in my opinion. And a lot of the rules tend to be very petty and just completely unlogical at all, by any means. I know it's a different culture, I understand. So let's say, for instance, you're 40 or you're 30 or you're in your 20s, you'll still be treated like lesser in a sense, kind of lower beneath the alpha male kind of status, the one who's already there, which would be either the alpha male or the alpha woman. And by this, let me give you a good example as to what I meant. So I had a discussion with one of my coworkers back at one of my schools, and he was, I think he's probably in his 50s, maybe 40s, 50s or so forth. And if I recall, I remember him mentioning how even though he's his age, he's always seen as the lesser in a sense, not as a man, but treated as less of a man, if that makes any sense to you guys. Some other stories that I've heard from people who have married. One instance is where the mother had moved in with the mother. I think it was just the mother herself, but she had moved in with her daughter, and she would lock the door so that the husband couldn't come out, so that the foreign husband couldn't come out and see his wife. So you have those kind of things enforced upon you. And even I myself have encountered some unique rules that I wholeheartedly do not agree with, and that just, even when I try to think of a logical way of trying to rationalize it, still doesn't make any sense. And I guess you can just chop that up to a cultural difference. However, I'm not so sure, because I've dated a couple of women, Japanese women. However, I've never had the full experience to just spend a lot of time with their family as I am with my current wife. Okay. So while there are some good things, some good aspects, like they are friendly to you and they're nice, very kind, and so forth, and you'll have memorable moments, there is that feeling of you, of the head. There's a head and that you're kind of somewhere in the low area. Okay, so you have the head, which is usually the alpha male or the alpha female, the mother or the father. One of those two are the head. Okay, and you'll know because they try to keep it subtle at times. They don't want you to know a lot about what's going on in the family, as far as anger and how a person truly feels. Remember how I mentioned that Hone Tatemae, that still applies to the cultural differences. It's even invoked in the culture, even in my wife's family. Hone Tatemae, you have a lot of that. Okay, but there's certain rules that you have to apply to, and being an adult, you might not agree to those rules. Not only that, there's money that's involved. Okay, now I'm not sure how true this is, but I was told that I think when the husband marries, he moves in with the family, or I think it's the wife who does it, and the wife has to take care of the family plus the husband. Not only that, the husband has to pay for everything, including the wife's parents and so forth. And I can say that there is some truth to that. There is some truth to that. But keep in mind it is a different culture. Okay, this is not to bash the culture. This is actually just to inform those who might not know what they're getting into when they decide to date or marry a woman from Japan. Okay, that in Japan. So I will just advise to you, just keep in mind rules such as curfew. There's a curfew. Rules such as eating habits, table manners. You can't do certain things, but then the head of the household, such as the father or the mother, they can. Well, the man essentially can sit at the table with his shirt off, in his shorts or in his drawers. You have to take a bath at a certain time, or else it'll somehow mess up somebody else's routine. Let's see what else. Oh, you have to pay rent. Not chip in, but you have to pay. Even sign a little contract. Sign a contract. Yeah. I know this may sound unbelievable, but yeah, this is true. I've never. Where I come from, family means you look out for one another. And you do take the good with the bad. And there is money involved. However, I've just never recalled my mother or even my sister saying that I have to pay them rent. Now they'll ask if I can pay them rent, or if I could chip in, or if I have any money on me to spare. But it's never been a scenario where my own mother would say, "Oh, I have to pay," because I know this might seem illogical to some people, and it might seem understandable to some, but from my family's perspective, we're trying to help each other grow, and we're trying to help each other to rise up. And I guess in this culture, it's more or less the youth have to pay for the elderly after the elderly have done a lot of work and a lot of solitude, like indentured servant work. And I mean, it's really unique. Another thing, if you do something wrong, you get fussed out about it. You get in trouble. You're frowned upon. However, if one of them does something equally wrong, it goes unnoticed and it's quiet. Nobody speaks about it. Um, Now, from my experiences, at first things were okay. Okay, things were fine. And things are still fine. It's just I am a man, and an adult male shouldn't have a curfew unless he's number one in the military, number two security officer, or number three working, or number four married to his wife, living with his wife alone. Okay? Now, those are the only times I'll say a curfew is understandable for a man. Okay? But just to live with the family, live in the family's home, and I know it's their home, their rules. It's almost I can't put. It's almost in a sense disrespectful. It feels it's what's the term? It's downgrading in a sense. Downgrading. It seems downgrading. Personal information being known by everybody. I'm not saying this is all people, okay, but I will say that this might be your scenario if you're dating a woman from Japan. Now, not all women are this way, okay? I have to constantly say this to be politically correct because, in a sense I am. And plus there's probably somebody who will take offense to it. But I want you to learn. I don't give a fuck about how you feel. I want you to learn. I want you to understand. I want you to take in what I'm saying. This goes for everybody, every culture, even the Japanese men, okay, that don't know. But if you decide, there's a lot that comes with it, a lot of headache, okay? And I've heard some good stories as well. I've heard some good, but from my experiences, it's been mostly lukewarm because I'm paying rent and I don't have a say-so, which is something you might want to take into consideration. Not only that, I'm paying more rent than what I was paying when I was living by myself. Okay, so with that in mind, you can understand my stance on this. Okay, I'm still middle of the road. I'm not a weeboo. I'm not one of those bitter guys. I'm not one of those bitter individuals who despises this. But I guess you can say this is kind of a warning that I'm throwing out to people who want to get married. Not all are this way, but if you decide to live with the family, just know that there may be a lot of rules that go against anything, that go against your entire routine, your entire lifestyle, your entire way of being. And there might be a lot of power trips and just a lot of ego thrown into the relationship. But if that is what you decide to do, just know there's a possibility that you might have to deal with the family on not just a financial level, but also on an extremely uncomfortable personal level as well. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this little segment. I know it's short, and I apologize to that. I see I have 7 subscribers. Guys, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm going to try my hardest to keep coming up with more videos. And I will also, just to notice, now I went into this posting videos specifically about Japan. However, I'm going to be posting videos not just about the culture of Japan, but about other things as well. So please stay tuned to that, okay, guys? And yeah, this is Edo Kami-sama. I'll see you later. All right? Bye.